Is this video going to prove to be a bad idea? Maybe. So I guess before I get into it, I want to, address a couple of things or make a couple of things pretty clear. I'm not looking to play like a victim here. Like the whole point of me making this isn't because I want to be seen as a victim or that I think I'm a victim. Or that I'm looking for pity, because I'm not. There's this thing about my personality where I have this deep need, this really deep need to feel understood by people. And I know that I need therapy. Like, that's something that I need. Like, the stuff that I've been through and the experiences that I've had and all of the things that I'm going to tell you, have like led me to be the person that I am. And I know that the person that I am is like damaged from all the experiences that I've had and just growing up and like dealing with these things. And I know that I'm a damaged person, and I know that that comes off in certain ways. Maybe it can seem like I'm judgy, or it can seem like I'm rude. It can seem like I'm a bitch, or it can seem like, I don't know. I don't know how I come off to certain people. I know that, like, deep down, not even deep down, deep down, I know that I'm a good person, and I have a good heart, and I'm good to people, but I know that I can also come off abrasive. And the reason for that is because I have so many walls up because of all of the things that I've just sort of been through in my life. So, Oliver's, this is more of like a casual video. Is he over there? Where is he? There he is. So I'm not looking for pity. I don't want that because it makes me uncomfortable. And then I'm not playing a victim card here. I'm merely just looking to feel understood, and just so people can sort of like know where I come from. When I say things like I said in my, in my Green Beauty tag video, that I don't feel like I'm a part of a community. I don't know where I belong. I want to be liked by people, but I also want to be able to speak my mind. And I don't put up with bullshit either. And I guess being a part of like a community, like the Green Beauty community, you kind of have to put up with bullshit. Anyways, what I was saying is I don't put up with bullshit. So like when I see other people bullshit, it's why I get so emotional. Like because I feel like there are people out there trying to trick you into, buying things that you don't need, or spending money when you don't need to, or just like, this is why I get so upset, because I have a very low tolerance for that kind of behavior. So like it can come off as me judging, but it's me I don't want you guys to get duped, So I wanted to sort of I wanted to sit down and talk about like my bullying experience, because I was bullied a lot for many, many years. And it's scarred me as a person, and it's made me who I am, and it's made my personality what it is, and it's made me, have the feelings and thoughts and whatevers that I do, and, the need for therapy, and am I depressed? My doctor thinks so. So it's like, these things that I went through all contribute to my personality. And like, I have this like deep desire, like I said, it's not even deep. I just have this desire to like be understood by people. And maybe those of you that have been around here like long enough, and who, have known my history and like known the things that I've gone through, like you kind of sort of get that, and you don't put this like label on me that I may be judgy, or like I'm just like I come off as like a bitch or whatever. But maybe people who haven't been here as long don't know me really that well, because I've got 600 videos or whatever on my channel, and who's gonna sit there and watch every single one to get to know a person? Like, nobody. And will you know me completely just by this video? No, but I feel like I wanted to talk about it anyway, because mental health is like a big, it's like a big issue, is like people discussing their mental health and things like that. And I've been hesitant to talk about like my mental health for a long time, because maybe I don't want to admit that I'm depressed and like damaged and things like that. But the reality is that I am, and there are certain times where it comes off more on camera than other times. Sometimes I can sit here and pretend and be fine, and then there are other times when I'm just sit here and I'm crying and I'm a mess and I can't hide it. But so I just wanted to talk about like my bullying experience. I wanted to talk about all the things that I've gone through from, elementary school up until kind of recently, like before Oliver was born. So yeah, I also want to say that, you know, maybe compared to some people, like my bullying may be considered mild to somebody. To me, it wasn't mild. To me, that this was very traumatic, that this kind of stuff happened to me. You know, like I wasn't beat or anything, like nobody, you know, dragged me down an alley and kicked the crap out of me or anything like that, but I was emotionally bullied for many, many years, and it's damaged me. So, I guess it really started in 6th grade. It's kids are interesting. And this is kind of why I want to homeschool my son, because I know what I went through when I was a kid, and I don't want him to go through the same thing or be a bully himself. Like, I want to raise a, you know, kind, compassionate person. And I don't think that public school really is conducive to that. Like, it creates bullies, and it creates a system where bullies, you know, can be. And like bullying has gotten so bad. You hear all the time about kids killing themselves because they were bullied, you know, especially kids who, you know, are either gay or, you know, trans or things like, you know, are dealing with even more serious mental health stuff than, you know, like what I dealt with. But it's a scary world, and I'm very afraid, you know, bringing a child into this world, knowing what it's like. I've already brought him into this world. It's kind of like late for that, but he's in preschool now. But like, I do think that at some point I don't want him to be in public school because of what I went through. But I don't know. I'm sort of playing it out. He'll probably stay at least through kindergarten, and then we'll just kind of sort of play it by ear, see what happens. And if there is ever a moment where he comes home and he says, I'm being bullied, I'm unhappy, I will rip him out of school like that. I'm not even gonna think about it. Like, I'll just be like, okay, you're gonna be homeschooled then. Like, I'm not even that. I want my kid to feel safe. And if he doesn't feel safe at school, I'm not gonna continue to send him there. So anyway, that's a side tangent. Someone had asked me about homeschooling recently and what my thoughts were and like plans were. I guess that's sort of my plan. Like right now, he really loves school. I mean, he's a toddler. Toddlers are nice to each other for the most part, I think. I don't know. He can't really vocalize if someone is mean to him yet, I don't think, but you know, he seems happy. He always wants to go to school. He talks about, you know, the few friends' names that he remembers. He's really happy in school right now, and I don't want to take that away from him. But you know, if it ever comes to a point where he's not happy or I'm not happy with the education that he's receiving, will homeschool him. So yeah, like I said, somebody asked me about that, and I wanted to like address it, like what my plans were. But for me, it started in like 6th grade. And like I was saying, it's like kids are weird. The thing that is like the hardest for me to wrap my mind around is that, so like in 6th grade, I started getting bullied. And I don't know if it's because maybe I started wearing glasses, or maybe I started dressing differently than the other kids, or something about me just didn't seem cool anymore, I guess. And all of the people that I was friends with sort of like created this popular group. They just excluded me. And there were a couple of girls who were really vicious, and you know, a couple of examples of things that I can remember is the ones that scarred me the most. So after like, I think it was like half a year of them like torturing me and like not allowing me into this group, even though this is the thing that I find the most interesting is I was friends with all of these girls, you know, through various parts of kindergarten through 5th grade. I was really good friends with a lot of them. Like I would stay at their house, they would stay at my house. We were friends. There was no like popular group. There was no like cool group or whatever. I was friends with all of these people. And then for some reason in 6th grade, they all just decided to be friends with each other, and I was not good enough for them anymore. And I was no longer part of the group. I had two friends. in 6th grade, and one of them was like sort of drafted into their group. I feel like to torture me some more, because she wasn't originally a part of their group or whatever, but she was taken in at some point during the year, and I mean, we were still friends for a little while after that, but then we sort of fell. You know, I moved and things happened, and you know, we're not really friends anymore, but we weren't really friends after that. We did reconnect, sort of like in college, I guess, but yeah, one of the things that I remember the girl doing, there was like this leader. There was a leader of this group. I don't know. I kind of want to give her a name, but do I want to say her real name? I don't know. She's not watching me. No one's gonna know who she is. Her name was Deborah Lynn. I'm not good at like making up names, but she was like the leader, you know, she was like the ringleader. Everybody just sort of like followed her. And so she knew how much I wanted to like be a part of this group because I was friends with all of these people before. And I wanted to sort of just like, I wanted to be with my friends, even though like they were torturing me. But this thing that she did is like, she told me if I like wrote them all a note, I could be included in their group. So I did. I like wrote them a note. I like taped, you know, little mini erasers to the note. I don't even know what I wrote. I was probably just something like, thanks for letting me in, or I don't know, something. But like I poured my heart out and was like, because I wanted to be a part of this group or whatever. So then she lets me in for like a day, and then the next day tells me, oh, never mind, you can't be in this group anymore. And then just continued to torture me for the rest of the year. Another thing that she did is, you know, we used to have like field days in elementary school. So we had a field day, and I happened to be like on her team or whatever. And you know, at the end of the day, they take a picture of your group and then they give them to you. At least they did at my school. So she didn't like that I was in this picture. So she took a piece of paper and she taped it over my face with a smiley face. And because she didn't want to see me. This girl, I mean, there's a lot of other things that she did that I probably am blocking out, but like those are the two main things that I totally remember, is that she just like tortured me, and the fact that I wasn't cool enough for her, like wasn't cool enough for this group. And then she like tried to erase me from like her memory, I guess. I don't know. But I moved after that. I didn't go to the middle school that I would have gone to, going to that elementary school. I went to a new school because my mom bought a new house, and I moved like all the way across state. Well, not across. I moved across town. Like I was in Phoenix, and I think we moved to like Cave Creek. So we moved north many miles. So I was at a new school, all new people. I had to make all new friends. And so I did this really stupid thing before I went to school. Like I was a couple of days from starting school. I had really long hair. It was like the one thing about myself that I really liked. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a new person. Nobody knows anything about me at this new school. I'm gonna make all new friends. Things are gonna be fine. And then for whatever reason, I decided to shave this part of my head right here. And so it started to grow back in, and there was like little baby hairs. So I think as punishment for having cut my own hair, my mom chopped all of my hair off just to give me bangs. Like I had this really awful, really short haircut. She somehow thought that just because I needed bangs, she needed to chop all of my hair off. So I was already starting off on like a really bad foot at this new school. I was starting off with a haircut that made me look ugly. I was insecure. I was maybe dressed in a way that like wasn't cool at the time. I don't really know. I had glasses. So anyway, and again, because I wasn't deemed cool enough or dressed in a way that was cool or whatever, there were certain popular girls, I don't remember their names, because I only went to the school for 1 year. And it was, again, such a traumatic experience that I have blocked a lot of it out. But there were a lot of girls that made fun of me. In elementary school too, the boys also told me I was hairy. So yeah, that was also fun, is like I've been sort of like tortured by boys like my whole life. Like anytime I ever liked a guy, they found a way to put me down, call me ugly, call me hairy, call me four eyes, call me pepperoni face, call me what have you. I've been called like every name in the book. But yeah, in 7th grade, you know, I don't know if I came like dressed in the same pants 2 days in a row or something. I don't know, but some girls decided to tell me that I smelled, and she did this thing where she came to school one day and brought things like bubble bath, like clothes of hers. I don't know if she thought like I was homeless, but like she brought me things because I smelled to her, and was like, here, you need all these things. And like, just gave me, like, not in a nice way though, not in a like, I want to help you way. It's like, this is to solidify the fact that you smell. And I want everybody to know that by giving you these things in public. And then I had these two girls who I thought were my friends, like the only two people in the whole school who I thought were my friends. And they had this notebook that they, you know, would write in, and they'd give it to somebody, you know, they'd give it back to the other one, and then the other one would write in it, and they'd give it back to the other one. And it was like, you know, they passed it back and forth. And, you know, one day I read it, which I shouldn't have done because it wasn't mine, but, they were talking in ways, like they were saying things about ways that they could get rid of me because they didn't like me. And they were like, this girl keeps following us around. She keeps talking to us. She doesn't, you know, we don't like her. Like, and I thought these people were my friends. Like, we sat together at lunch, we talked all the time. I never really thought that they had any issue with me, but like behind closed doors, they didn't like me and they were trying to find ways to like dump me as a friend. So I sort of like withdrew, and that whole rest of the year, I didn't talk to anybody. I like stayed by myself. I cried a lot. I seriously contemplated suicide because I was so unhappy. And I know that this probably just seems like, I mean, now, like as an adult, this stuff is just sort of like petty, but like as a kid, this stuff seriously like damages you. And I'm still like I said, I'm still damaged from it. So like, it seems maybe bland in comparison to like some other people's experience, but like this was my experience. And like at the time, this stuff really hurt me. So then I moved again. My mom got married at the end of my 7th grade year, and we moved again. So I ended up at a new school in 8th grade. So I had the chance to start all over again. High school, I wasn't so much bullied by girls. I was bullied a lot by guys. And this is another reason why I have like confidence issues is, so like if someone tells me they think I look beautiful, or if someone tells me that a certain feature about myself is pretty, or if they tell me that I look really good or something like that, my immediate reaction is to assume that that person is lying just to be nice. It is not my first reaction to believe anytime anybody says anything nice about me, because I was never said those things when I was a kid, you know, except your mom. But, you know, you always feel like your mom is obligated to say those things, even if it's not true. I don't know. I mean, your parents always think that you're like the cutest thing on earth because you're theirs, and you're like a reflection of them or whatever. I never believed it, because every opportunity that there was for a guy to say something negative about me, they did. Every guy that I liked, literally every single one. I liked this guy from like 8th grade to like my junior year. I liked him for a really long time. And I don't know why I liked him so much, because every opportunity that he got, he was telling somebody, why do all the ugly girls have to like me? Which was me, because I was the only girl that liked him. He called me ugly at every opportunity that he could. You know, high school wasn't that bad because I did have an actual solid group of friends. I wish I was still like really good friends with these people, but I mean, we all have grown up, we've had kids, we've all moved on with our lives, I guess. And I haven't been someone that they've sort of like kept in contact with, I guess. They follow me on Instagram and they like, you know, comment from time to time or whatever, but they don't make an effort to see me, and it hurts. It hurts because it makes me think, were these people ever really my friends, or was it just like high school? I don't know. This is another thing that's been really hard for me, is like making and keeping friends. I'm really bad at, apparently. So anyway, we'll get to that. But in high school, like I didn't have such a bad experience in high school because, you know, I started wearing contacts. But it was the guys in high school, and it wasn't so much bullying in high school. It was just mean. Like, it was just mean stuff by every guy that I liked. That stuff scars you too. Feeling like you're not attractive or like worthy, or that anyone could ever like you. So yeah, there was a lot of guys that I liked in high school. One in particular who it hurt a lot every time he would say something negative about me. And then there was another guy who like I talked to a lot, and I thought that he liked me too. So then I made the mistake of telling him, and then he ignored me for the rest of the year. I was like, great. Then there was another guy that I told that I liked. And then this was like the last guy that I did this to, because I was like, okay, this never works out for me. All these guys act nice and they like, it sort of seems like maybe they like me, but then as soon as I tell them that I do, they're like, no. And then I got really fat in my junior year. Like I gained like 30 pounds in the course of like a couple of months, and I got really fat. And so that was something else that I had to deal with, is like all the guys then started calling me fat. One guy, there was like, I must have been looking at somebody for too long in high school, in like a Spanish class, I remember. He was like, it was the twin of the guy that I liked a lot. So like, I liked this one guy and he had a twin brother. I never really liked the twin brother, but I guess I must have been staring at him or like staring in his direction at some point. And so he goes, "What are you looking at, fatty?" And so that was fun. So yeah, so I was called like ugly, fat, you know, people made fun of me because of my acne. I had really bad acne in high school, really bad acne. So I was made fun of a lot because of my acne. I was made fun of when I gained a lot of weight. So when I was fat, I was made fun of because of my clothes. Like I wasn't dressed, again, like how people thought was cool or whatever. But I, for the most part, had an okay experience in high school, aside from the whole guy thing. Like I had friends that I talked to all the time. Like I had friends, like I had people that I actually felt were my friends, and like it wasn't like fake. Like I felt like these people were actually my friends. But then we get into college, which was so then we get into another event where like I'm at a position to like sort of introduce myself to like new people. Like I'm a whole new person. Nobody knows my history. I can make new friends. But I've become so antisocial at this point that it's like impossible for me to make friends. So I had a roommate my very first year of college. I lived in the dorms, and I talked to the girl that I found out was going to be my roommate for a couple of weeks over like chat, before we moved in. We seemed to be on really friendly terms. We seemed to be able that we could get along great. And then so I had gotten to the dorms first before she did, and so I had sort of like, I guess staked my claim or whatever. So like I picked the side of the room that I wanted. So I left like a note, and I like left my things on the side of the room that I wanted. And I went out, my mom and I went to go to Target or wherever to like get me the things that I need. And a couple of hours later I came back and she was there, and she had moved all of my stuff, and taken over the side of the room that I wanted, so that we were off to like a really bad start already, because she did that. So like at that point, like if I'm in a situation where I could be like in a confrontation with somebody, like that is a confrontational situation to me, where somebody like does something on purpose, like does like that. So like moves all of your stuff and just ignores that you were there first, or like you had staked your claim first or whatever, and like purposefully does something knowing that it's probably going to cause an issue. Like if I'm ever in a situation like that where I know that there's confrontation, I shut down. So I didn't talk to her. I was just like, hey, and that was it. Like I was just like, okay, I'm not going to address it, but I'm also not going to talk to her because she seems to be like a confrontational kind of person. So it was a really uncomfortable living situation for, I think, like 8 weeks, is how long we lived together. She wouldn't talk to me. I wouldn't talk to her. She would gossip about me behind my back to the other girls in the dorms. Like she would tell the other girls how, I guess, I don't know what she would call me, but she would like talk about how uncomfortable it was that, that she could never be in the room. Like I made things super uncomfortable, even though she kind of started this whole like thing, and then there were a couple of situations where the girls like asked me to hang out with them, and she was there and like to sort of just like bury the hatchet or whatever. And like anytime I would try, she would just like ignore me, and it was over. She would lie about stuff. She would use my stuff and then lie. So like I bought, my mom and I had bought a refrigerator and a microwave. So I bought the refrigerator and microwave for the room, with the intention that we would share it, and which we did at first for a while. And then I came home to my dorm in like the middle of the day one day, and she had moved the refrigerator and the microwave to a different part of the room, and then like brought in a new microwave and no, she just brought in a new refrigerator. She didn't even bring in a new microwave. She just brought in a new refrigerator, and I was like, okay. But then she would use my microwave, but then lie about it. So like I knew that she would use it because it would smell like popcorn or whatever. And like, I didn't have a problem, but then we were somewhere, or she was like, she had popcorn in the room and like one of the other girls was in the room. And like, I knew she had just used the microwave because it smelled like popcorn and I didn't make popcorn. And so one of the girls goes, oh, where'd you make the popcorn? And she goes, oh, I just made it downstairs in the kitchen. And I was like, like, why lie? Why lie? I don't understand. So anyway, after about 8 weeks, she apparently felt uncomfortable enough that she, or whatever, she left, she moved to a different area of the dorm. I guess somebody had moved out or something. Something happened where she had the opportunity to change rooms. So just like randomly one day, she just like took all of her stuff and just like left. And I was like, okay. But yeah, I mean, because of how I had been treated and like when I was a kid, my immediate response to like people not liking me or people putting me in a situation where it can become a confrontation or it can become uncomfortable is I shut everything down. I shut down myself. I shut down all my emotions. I shut down anything. And I just become quiet and reserved. And I don't associate with anybody. And yeah, people can take that in a way that I'm rude or I make the situation that uncomfortable, but it's because it's like, I've been in so many situations before where I've been treated awful that I don't want to put myself in those situations again. So to protect myself from being put in those situations, I shut down. And if that makes other people uncomfortable, then that makes other people uncomfortable, but that's just how I am. And that's how I've been, you know, since elementary school probably. So yeah, that was college. And then I moved out into my own apartment the next year. So I really didn't have any more sort of like bullying issues in college. It was just sort of that one like really uncomfortable situation with that girl. And it's not like she was even really a bully. She was just, again, she was mean. So like what constitutes as bullying, I guess, is like being mean and like being, I don't know, is that bullying? It felt like bullying to me. It felt like that to me. So, I mean, like, that's what I'm calling it. Is it bullying? I don't know. Is like somebody else going to think it's bullying? I don't know. But to me, that's what it felt like. Because she would, you know, talk about me behind my back to the other girls. Like a lot of the other girls like had this opinion about me because of what she said. So I wasn't really friends with a lot of people in the dorm, which is fine. Like I wanted to get the hell out of there anyway. I hated college. I didn't want to be there because I didn't want to be in college. I wanted to go to culinary school. That's what I've always wanted to do. And, you know, the reason I don't have the relationship with my mom that I have is because she lied to me too. You know, she did this whole business about, you know, you can be whatever you want to be. And I told her from a very young age that I wanted to be a chef. Like I knew in 6th grade that I wanted to cook for a living. Like that's what I wanted to do. And 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. But so instead of supporting my dream, she was like, no, you're going to go to college and then you're going to go to culinary school. And then I was like, okay, so if this is the deal that we're making, I'm going to get through college as fast as I can. And then so that way I can get to really what I want to do, because I graduated college in 3.5 years. I took summer classes. I took winter classes. I took way more classes than I probably should have because I just wanted to get done. So I graduated a whole semester early. And then once I got done with college, she was like, no, I'm not paying for you to go to culinary school. That's not what we agreed to. I was like, so you took away the opportunity from me because I had money. I had a college fund. I was like, you took away the opportunity for me to go and do the thing that I wanted to do when I had the money. And now that all of the money is gone because it paid for apartments, it paid for my college degree or whatever. Now you're telling me that I can't do that because there's no money, even though I was going to do that with the money that I was for my college. It's the reason, this is the reason why I don't have a good relationship with my mom, is just because this is a whole nother, like we could talk about the bullying thing, but then we could talk about how I sort of grew up in like an emotionally abusive household, you know, as a kid as well, because that stuff also contributes to my personality as well. My mom was so convinced that I was ADD, ADHD, bipolar, that I had like every mental health diagnosis in the book, which I went to therapy, I went to psychiatrists, I was analyzed, I was, you know, I was on pills that made me hallucinate. I was on every kind of like behavioral pill when I was a kid because my mom thought something was wrong with me, when really all that it turned out, like after years of this, after years of therapy, after years of emotional abuse from my mom, after years of mental abuse, after years of pills and doctors and thinking that something is wrong with me, like maybe this is why I was so awkward, or maybe like this is why like maybe the kids knew or something, like somehow knew that I was like going through this stuff in elementary school. And by 6th grade, maybe I was just like so fucked up. They just like could smell it on me. I don't know, but like all that it ended up being is I had a blood sugar problem. I was never diagnosed with like bipolar. I was never diagnosed with ADD. I was never diagnosed with any of the things that my mom thought that I was. They put me on the pills for them for some reason, probably because my mom wanted them to. But I was never diagnosed. All I was diagnosed with was, what's it called? It's like hypo something. I had a blood sugar issue. So like when I eat, when it used to, I mean, I can regulate it now. Like I can notice, like these things don't happen, but like when you're a kid, you can't regulate your emotions, right? So you're already dealing with, you know, emotions that you can't control and that you don't even, like, you don't know what's going on as you're a kid. But like I had this sugar problem where I would eat sugar, my blood sugar would spike and then I would crash really hard and it would, you know, my mood would be really, like I would be in a really bad mood. I would throw tantrums, I would cry, like I would just be unreasonable apparently. But like, how different is that from like being a kid anyway? I don't know, because that stuff doesn't happen to me now when I eat sugar. I just eat sugar and then I feel shitty. I mean, like it makes me feel bad, but like I don't have like outbursts or like tantrum spells or whatever. So on top of like the school thing, I was also, you know, in my opinion, I was emotionally and mentally abused at home. My mom didn't like me. I mean, she hit me, like, so not like she beat me, but like she would probably have CPS called on her, like now, like if I was to do the things to Oliver that my mom did to me when I was a kid, CPS would probably be called. I mean, it was more normal back then. Like, you know, people don't hit their kids as much now, but like back then they hit their kids all the time. She was very abusive and I never felt loved. I never felt like my mom loved me. And this is why we still don't have a good relationship, is because I've built up all of these walls and my mom tells me she loves me, but I've never said it to her. Because I remember all of the things from when I was a kid. And I can't. It's like, you know, it's like if you're abused by a spouse, like, are you gonna love that person? It's the same with parents. Like, just because she's my mom, I'm not obligated to love her. Like, it's not a requirement. And if I don't feel loved, and if I didn't feel loved growing up, like, these are the things that make me who I am. You know, so it wasn't just kids. It wasn't just kids bullying me. It was like the emotional stuff that I dealt with my mom. Never feeling like I could measure up. You know, and I have a younger sister and I always felt like my sister was more loved. I was just the problem child who my mom could never figure out what was wrong with me, even though it was probably just normal kid stuff. She just didn't understand. I mean, she was a single parent, so she was like doing it all by herself. And instead of like, you know, figuring out what the actual issue is, she just put me on pills. And like I said, one of the pills actually made me hallucinate. I was on this one for a very short time because I started hallucinating really quickly. I had two very vivid hallucinations that I still remember. They're like ingrained in my brain. So one of them, I had this closet when I was a kid, and it was like this, where it sort of like slides out. And I don't know, it must have been winter because there were a lot of like long sleeves in my closet. So I had this very vivid hallucination where the closet slowly opened and then all of the like sleeves from the long sleeves like reached out of the closet, you know, and they were like coming to get me. I wasn't dreaming. This was a hallucination, like a full-fledged hallucination. And so that freaked the shit out of me. I don't think I told my mom about that one because I thought I don't know. I don't know if I thought that like it wasn't real. I don't know. But then I had another hallucination. It was maybe like a week later. I had a clock in the corner of my bedroom. So it was like our alarm clock. I shared a room with my sister. So the clock is in the corner of the bedroom. I don't know. It's like, it doesn't really matter. It's in the corner of my bedroom. And I looked up to see what time it was, and I started seeing all of these clown ghosts floating out from my clock. So like they were just like coming at me from my clock, like slowly. So I put the blanket over my head, and I was like, this can't be real. This isn't happening. And then I took the blanket off, and they were still there. They were still floating. So then I told my mom about that, and then I told her about the closet incident, and she took me, you know, they took me off that medicine because I was having, you know, hallucinations. That's the only time I've ever hallucinated in my whole life. Hallucination is scary. This is like scary, especially when you're a kid and you're hallucinating those kinds of things. So yeah, so that, I mean, I was on pills I didn't need to be on. I was emotionally and like mentally abused by my mom. I mean, maybe by today's standards, I was even physically abused by her. I just, all of that on top of like being sort of like an outcast at school and like not feeling like I belonged anywhere. I didn't belong at home because it felt like nobody wanted me there. I didn't belong at school because it felt like nobody accepted me. I just like, I'm in this like world by myself where nobody wants me. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. So, I mean, I carried that with me, you know, all through high school. So then another story with my mom is my mom got married when I was going into 8th grade. And it took a long time for me to have any kind of relationship with my stepdad. When I was living in his house, he made sure to tell me it was his house all the time. He was not a very nice person. I was also emotionally and mentally abused by him as well. At every opportunity that he could manage, he reminded me that it was his house. I'm under his rules. You know, my mom had nothing to do with it. Like, I couldn't go to my mom. And anytime that I did go to my mom, she wouldn't defend me. She wouldn't stick up for me. She wouldn't tell him that the things that he was doing and saying to me was not okay. So not only did I feel neglected by my mom, but I was now in a situation where I was neglected by 2 parent figures. One time my stepdad locked me out of the house because I was fighting with my sister. So he threw us out in the middle of winter, only wearing our pajamas because he was tired of us fighting, or like he was mad at us for fighting. He left us out there for like an hour. One time my mom forgot me somewhere. I was in high school, and I don't know if it was like a choir concert or something, or I was like at a play. I'm not really sure where I was, but my mom was supposed to come pick me up. This was before I was driving. She was supposed to come pick me up. Again, it was the middle of winter, and so someone had asked me, do I need to call my mom? Like, is she coming? And I was like, oh yeah, she'll be here, because she'd never forgotten me before. So I'm sitting outside in the dark. It's like 9, 10 o'clock at night at my high school. Everybody's gone. Literally, I'm the last person there. And I'm sitting by like the gates with like my coat, and I'm like shivering. I didn't have a cell phone because I wasn't driving yet. I didn't get a cell phone until I was 16. So I couldn't call anybody. I was like 5 miles away from home, so I couldn't really walk. So I sat there in the cold by myself for an hour. My mom had forgotten me there because she was watching TV with my stepdad. And then because it was so cold, I ended up getting laryngitis, and my voice and my throat were all messed up for like the next like week. So, I mean, my mom forgot me. So, So yeah, my stepdad, like any opportunity that he could like put me in my place, he did it. So like I was being kept up one night, you know, it was nighttime and they had the TV on really loud or whatever. And I said, can you guys lower that? You know, I'm trying to sleep. And he goes, sounds like a personal problem to me. He's cruel. And again, maybe to some other people, this might seem like normal parenting shit. I don't know. Like, I don't treat my kid this way. So like, this isn't normal behavior. He's a mean guy. He was a mean guy. It took us a long time, and for him and my mom to divorce, for me to actually have like any kind of actual relationship with him. But like while I was living in his house, one time, I forgot about this. One time, so we used to have like a family computer. So it was in his office. So we could only use it when he allowed us to use it. So like anytime I wanted to do my homework or anytime I wanted to just like play on games or whatever, it had to be approved by him. So we had one computer, and then at some point I finally got my own computer. I think it was for my birthday one year. My mom finally bought me my own computer, so that way I wasn't, you know, subjected to just like being on the computer like 1 hour a day or whatever. Okay, so yes, so I had gotten my own computer at some point, you know, just so I had more privacy and that I could be on it longer if I needed to be. Plus, I think at that point I was I talking to Gilbert yet? I'm not sure. Gilbert and I met online. So that was how the first few years of our relationship were conducted, was, you know, on the computer. So yeah, he was mad at me for not listening to him about something. I don't remember what. I don't remember why he was mad at me. He was mad at me all the time. He was always finding something to pick at me about. He was always finding something to argue with me about. He was always looking for a way to take something from me, to, you know, make sure that I knew that he was in charge or whatever. So in this particular time, I hadn't listened to him do, I don't know, maybe I didn't put a dish away or something. I can't remember. But I was on my computer in my room, and I was ignoring him because, I mean, that's what I do. I try to block things out, but he is not someone that you can block out. He makes it very clear that he will not be ignored, and you will do exactly as he says when he says it, or you are going to be in trouble. So he was pissed that I was ignoring him and I was on my computer. And so he ripped the computer out. It was a desktop. So like, I think I had my hands on the keyboard, and he ripped the keyboard out of my computer, out from under my hands. And he had done it in a way that it physically hurt me. So he had physically hurt me. So I called for my mom. I was like, Mom, he's hurting me. Like, I'm telling her that he's being violent and he's hurting me. She ignores it. I know that she can hear me because she's standing in the kitchen and I'm screaming for her to come in and help me. She ignores it and allows him to continue to doing what he's doing. So like, my mom was so obsessed with like being with somebody, being in a marriage, being in a relationship, that she put her kids second. I did not have a good upbringing. Like all the things about my upbringing, like, have damaged me in like some ways. I have a stepmom because my dad got married in 1996 to a woman who hates my guts, still does to this day, hates my guts. And luckily, she hasn't subjected Oliver to what she subjected me to as a kid, which is good, because if she ever treats Oliver in the way that she treats me, if I ever catch her, you know, not giving him attention like she does to the other kids, or ignoring him purposefully, or like saying mean things to him, like I will put her in her place so fast. But luckily she hasn't done that. She hasn't subjected him to the kind of treatment that she subjected to me. She got so mad one time that I didn't make my bed the way that she wanted me to. I pushed my sheet off to the side and I just covered it with my comforter, you know, like I'm sure every kid has done. She was so pissed that I like defied her orders to make my bed in the way that she wanted me to, that like I was leaving with my dad, we were going somewhere, and she came out into the garage, and she was like, she yelled at my dad and she said, "You are gonna pick right now. It's gonna be me or her." Like she literally was giving my dad an ultimatum in front of me. Like, this is the kind of person that she was, like she is. Like, I mean, I don't see them as much anymore. My relationship with my dad is like greatly strained for a lot of reasons. I don't think he's forgiven me for like not telling him that I was in labor. I had always said to everybody that it was just gonna be me and Gilbert when Oliver was born. I didn't want anybody there. I wanted it to just be us, because I was being thrust into a new, you know, point in my life. Like I was gonna have a baby. Like I wanted to be able to figure this stuff out on my own. And he was very hurt that I didn't ask him to be there. And I've never talked about this. I think he still punishes me for this. He didn't talk to me for like days after Oliver was born, because he was so upset with me that I didn't ask him to be there. He was ignoring my phone calls, and like when I talked to him, he told me that he was gonna go to Washington and be with my grandma or whatever, and that I didn't need him. Which was, again, just like a very emotionally abusive thing to do to somebody who just had a baby. So it's like, I love my dad, but he's done things to me too that have really fucked me up. And this is one of them, and I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to cry. Oh, fuck. It's alright, I'm not going anywhere anyway. I still think, I do still think that he's punishing me for that. And I don't have the relationship with my dad that I want to have with him. He never calls me. When I told him, I felt like he didn't love me and that he didn't care about me, he said, well, that's your perception, and that doesn't mean that that's the truth. But he never makes an effort. And my stepsister has had a baby. You know, since Oliver's been born, I think this baby's like a year younger than Oliver, but this baby practically lives at my dad's house because my stepsister, who is older than me, you know, can't get her life together. So my dad and my stepmom practically raised this kid as their own. He's there all the time. Anytime I talk to my dad, he's always talking to me about this other kid. And it makes me so upset that he has more of a relationship with my stepsister's kid than his own grandkid. So I'm still, even still, I am still going through things, and I'm dealing with stuff that makes me feel like I don't even belong in my own family. Like, my own family doesn't even care about me. And so I don't really, like, I do wonder, like, is it me? Like, is there something specifically about me that's just, like, unlovable? Or just, like, so undesirable that I can't get people to like me? You know, and it's this way with friends too. Anytime I try to make a friend, well, not anytime, because I can't say that, because I have people that are my friends and that will be friends forever, I hope. You know, that I've made since starting YouTube and Instagram and all that, I wouldn't have otherwise. So I can't say this is true about everybody, but there are some people that I try to make friends with, and maybe our personalities just don't get along or whatever. Or maybe we're just like not the right, you know, like combination. Like maybe our chemistries just don't mix or whatever. But like I do feel hurt anytime it feels like I'm putting myself out there and I'm making an effort and other people aren't. So I know I'm jumping like all over the place in my story, sort of like so back and forth, but like, so elementary school, I was bullied by kids, but I was also emotionally and mentally abused by my mom. You know, I was on drugs I didn't need to be on. I was a therapist all the time. I was, you know, told I was messed up, like something was wrong with me. I was not a normal kid. My mom couldn't deal with me. My mom didn't love me. So I dealt with that. Middle school, you know, I was bullied by people because of how I looked and how I smelled, apparently. I don't think I smelled bad, but I mean, I was really, I had the ugliest haircut. I was just starting to get acne. I had glasses. I had braces. Like I was like the epitome of like the ugly duckling, except I didn't get prettier. At least not that year anyway. That was 7th grade, and then 8th grade, my mom married my stepdad, and I had to deal with a whole nother barrage. So like, I didn't get it so much at school except from guys, but like at home, I was being like mentally and emotionally abused by my stepdad. So I was dealing with that all through high school. My sister hated it so much that she actually moved out and moved in with my dad, who then she had to deal with her own set of issues, like living at my dad's house. She thought she could escape something by moving to my dad's, but she couldn't escape it. She just found new issues. But she was so unhappy with my stepdad and how he treated us that she actually just like left. She was just like, I'm not dealing with this. But you know, it hurts when your parent, who is supposed to be there for you, isn't, and like ignores you. So that's through college. So my husband and I got married the semester before I finished college. So we were living on our own. You know, things were better because I wasn't, you know, family wasn't around as much. You know, we'd see them every once in a while, but it's not like, you know, I don't know. I didn't deal with bullying because I wasn't in school anymore. You know, in the workforce, that doesn't really happen that much. Actually, no, I've never really had to deal with any of that, like in the workforce. There are people that annoyed me, but like I've never been like mistreated by somebody. Like at work, it wasn't until Green Beauty, like I joined this community, that something else happened to me. I thought I was done. I thought it had escaped it. So like, you guys know my story. I've told you guys this a lot of times. I joined this community. I joined, you know, YouTube and Instagram and all that because I was lonely, because I needed people to talk to. I needed people who had interests similar to mine. I needed friends. I needed something because I didn't have any. I had my husband in my real life. Like, honestly, I didn't have any other friends. I didn't hang out with anybody. You know, all the people that I was friends with in high school didn't really ever make an effort to hang out with me, and like, when we made plans, they would cancel and like never, you know, never remake them. So like, I was looking for something because I had nobody. So so I joined this community. You know, like I said in that other video that I talked, you know, in a couple of days ago, it was a lot smaller then. There was a lot less people in the community. So it was like, I was like, in the beginning, I felt like I was friends with like everybody. So like, you know, there were a few bigger bloggers that, like, not big as you think of them now, but like, you know, they were like bigger because Instagram was like a smaller platform then. So like, you know, there was Beauty by Brittany. I feel like she maybe had like 20 or 30,000 followers, you know, that many years ago. I don't really remember. You know, there was Girl Gone Green. There was Organic Bunny. I feel like she's been around about as long as I have. Janny Organically, and then there was a lot of like littler, you know, there was a lot of little, there was a very specific group of people that I joined YouTube because I wanted to connect with. Leticia, Andrea, Cherie, Jennifer, all of who basically don't really do YouTube anymore. Cherie has like a weight loss channel now. So she does YouTube, but she doesn't really do beauty stuff anymore. I know this video is getting long and I need to sort of like wrap it up, but so yeah, there was like a lot of girls in the beginning that I joined because I wanted to become friends with them because they were like the people who were active at the time. And you know, since then it's exploded. There are so many bloggers and vloggers now, and it doesn't really feel like a community anymore because there's so many people. So it's just like you sort of have to find who you can connect to the most, but then it also makes it feel like it's a competition. So like, the more new people come in, you feel like you're competing against, you know, them for time because, you know, there's only so many hours in a day, and like, people are going to pick and choose like who they want to support and connect with and whatever and things like that. And like, anytime I see like, you know, somebody stop engaging with me, like if someone comments and then I stop seeing them comment, it makes me sad because I'm like, well, I go back to that, like, I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm not good enough for anybody. So like, anytime I see somebody like drop off or stop following me, because I do notice those things, like I notice when people stop commenting and stop engaging and things like that, I'm aware, like it does, it like hurts because so much of my life I've been fighting to like find where I belong. And like, I feel like I still feel like I don't know where I fit in, because I don't fit in with like the bigger bloggers because, you know, it's all fake at that level. And like this too, like I have this need to like say how I feel like things are. And nobody likes that. I mean, nobody likes being told that they're fake or you don't like them or whatever. And I don't really feel like I'm being a bully. I'm just like, again, it's what I was saying in the beginning. I don't like all the bullshit. Like, I hate blogging tactics. I hate things that people do to like try to get a sale. I hate things that people do to like gain a mass amount of followers or whatever. Like, I don't know what point I'm trying to get to. I want people to understand like where I come from and like all the things that I've been through, you know, through my life, and like sort of realize or like figure out that it's sort of made me like a damaged person. And like, it's contributed so much to my personality and like how I view the world and like how I see things. So like, if I come across as like judgmental or whatever, it's just because I don't see the world through like rose-colored glasses. I see the world as it is. And the world is like, it's a shitty, mean, fake place a lot of the time. And like, I feel like I don't know. I don't know where the good is. I don't know where the good is. I want a community where it's not just like about sales and like making this your job. Like, I feel like I'm now in a place where I'm lost again because I'm not trying to, I don't know, I'm not trying to dupe anybody. And like, this isn't my job. I'm here strictly to connect. And I don't know that this is a place for me because I don't have the same ambitions that other people have. Like, I'm not here pumping out sponsored content after sponsored contest and like telling you all the things that you need and whatever, because this isn't my job. Like, I have a job. I have a job that makes me money. Like, this makes me a little bit of money, but it strictly goes right back into making more content. So like buying product and like upgrading my equipment and things like that. It all goes right back into it. So it's just like, I'm not looking, this isn't something that I need to like live. And I feel like there's a difference between like the people who do this to live, to like for an actual paycheck, to like pay their bills or whatever, and me. And like, I don't know where I fit in because I don't even know if my point is going to get across. I don't even know if I have a point. I feel like a lost person. I know I need therapy because I know I need to sort of like talk through these issues that I have. I know why I am I know why I am. Like, I know I'm aware of the reasons of my personality and like why I am the way that I am. But I don't know how to get past it and just focus on me and not focus on like all the other things that are going on around me. You know, I don't know. And like, anytime I get accused of something, like if someone calls me judgmental, or if someone said I said something racist, like towards my own kid once, and that, like, anytime something like that happens, like, I immediately go into defense mode, and like, I'm like, okay, I need to defend myself now because I'm not what these people say that I am. You know, maybe I come across as judgmental, but I'm not a judgmental person. Maybe I'm not racist. Like, let's not even go there. I know that I'm a good person. I just have a very low tolerance for bullshit, which can make it seem like I judge people, or I don't like anybody, or I don't know. Because of my personality, it can make it seem like I'm unfriendly, or like I don't want people in my life. But like, that's the opposite. I mean, I want people in my life. Like, I want people to like me. So like, because of all of the things that I dealt with when I was a kid, from my parents, from kids at school, boys, never feeling like I was good enough for anybody, or never feeling like I was liked, I have this deep need now for like everybody to like me. And I know that that's unrealistic because my personality it can drive people away. And like, at the same time, like, I want to be friends with people, but like, I also, how do you do that with people who don't share the same like morals and values and like ethics? Like, or like, maybe you can't be friends with those kinds of people. I don't know. Like, I have such a desire to be liked by everybody, and when I feel like I'm not, I feel like my whole world falls apart. Like, I know that that's stupid because not everybody can like you. And I know that these are things that I like need to work through, because I don't think that I'm ever going to be like a functional person until I can somehow work through them. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know that there was ever a point to like this video, but I wanted you guys to like sort of understand me more, and I highly doubt that anybody even got through this entire thing. So I'm probably talking to myself at this point. Because this is a very long video, I need to cut it off. So, I want you guys to know, that I am a good person. And I really do. I mean, like, I initially like everybody. I have a hard time. I guess maybe what I have a hard time with, like, keeping friends or like making friends is because I'll like somebody until I see them do something that really just rubs me the wrong way. Like, but maybe it's the same way with everybody. Like, I've done things, I guess, you know, I've spoken out about certain issues that have pissed some people off, and they've stopped associating with me. And like, I've said some things that maybe people took as confrontational and they stopped associating with me. And like, I didn't even talk about the thing that happened to me, like in the green beauty community. I was bullied by a couple of girls who aren't even really that active anymore, which is like the ironic thing. It's like they made such a fuss about something that I said in a video where I wasn't, they took it as a personal attack upon them, which it wasn't. It was a broad statement to like the entire community. I had said something like, I really think that bloggers should be buying their own products, because if they're not, they're going to be completely biased, which I still agree with. Like, and I still buy a lot of my own product. I do get sent stuff from brands that I love, you know, and brands that I work with all the time, but like, I do buy my own stuff all the time. I still think that's an important thing, and that's still something that I say. So like, even though these two girls aren't even active in this community anymore, really, I mean, one of them is, but not really. I don't want to say it, like, I don't want you to know who I'm talking about, but like, I still say these things. And this stuff happened like 4 years ago, where I made this comment, like, people need to be buying stuff, because if they're not buying stuff, they're not really telling you the truth, which I still say. These are still feelings that I still have. So it wasn't even related to these two people who decided to take this personally. They were both bloggers at the time. One of them is completely dropped off, like deleted, you know, her platform. And then the other one is here, but not really. But so it's like, they took this personally, and then they smeared my name. One girl went on, this was back when, what was that platform? Starts with a P. I don't know. It was like it was one of those platforms where you could like go live before there was live on Instagram. I forget what it was called. Something with a P. I don't remember. But she like went live and like, not so subtly, like tried to call me out on it and like tell like everybody who was watching that I was like a bad person. And then like, when people in the comments were like, who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? She would like say, just DM me. So she was going, you know, she was like telling as many people as she could that I was the person that she was talking about. So like, there are people now who don't associate with me because this person didn't like that I said something that wasn't about her, because I made just like a broad statement. And then like smeared my name to everybody who would listen. So I could give you a long list of names of people who don't like me because of what this other person said about me, who's not even in the community anymore, which is the thing that aggravates me so hard. It's like, she did all that for what? So this is why I feel like I don't belong too, is because I've had my name smeared here. You know, like, newer people are not going to have any idea what this is about, but like, it's about the old people, you know? And this is why I feel like I don't know where I belong, because, so anyway, oh my God, whatever is happening to my face. So I need to cut this off. But like, the point that I was trying to make is like what I was saying in that other video is like, I want to be liked, but I want to still be me. And like, I feel like in this kind of community where it's like, everybody's out for themselves, everybody's trying to make a buck, everybody is trying to make this their job, everybody is trying to make it, everybody is like, you know, whatever. Like, you see who says these kinds of things, like, I'm gonna make it, I'm doing it, this is, you know, this is gonna be my career, whatever. So like, if you say anything that these people find threatening, they don't like you. So like, I want to be liked, but I also want to be able to speak my mind without it, like, but it like offends people. I don't know. Okay, I'm done, because this is way too long of a video. I don't know. The point is that I've been through a lot, and it does contribute to how I view the world and how I view people and the kind of stuff that I tolerate and don't tolerate. But I also have this deep desire and need to be liked. And when I feel like I'm not liked, it really, like, it gets crippling. When I see somebody who seems to only be following me because they want, you know, me to support their ventures, or like me to support them or whatever, and they're not following me because they actually like me, I mean, that hurts me too. Like, I can't tell you like I could tell you, but like there are so many bloggers who follow and unfollow and follow and unfollow and like act like they like me, but then when I don't like, I guess, follow them back, because I can't follow everybody. Like I cannot, I curate my Instagram to be a certain way because I cannot look at like thousands of people's profiles every day, and the people who are following that many people aren't anyway. And like I don't spend my whole life on Instagram. This is another struggle. Instagram, it's like so fake. Social media has like destroyed relationships, I feel like. I don't know. But then like I've met so many good people through social media, so it's like my brain is literally, it's such a mess. My brain is such a mess because of I've dealt with so much stuff in my life. I've been through so much. I'm still dealing with stuff because I'm not going to talk about this, but like my marriage it's not the healthiest. So like I'm still dealing with like emotionally traumatizing things. And I'm just like a fucked up human being overall. But I know that I'm a good person. And if you really take the time to get to know me, like I'm loyal, I'm fun, I'm nice, I know that I'm a good person. And I hate feeling like people think that I'm not. I don't know what, I hope that this helped you sort of like understand me a little bit more if you did manage to make it through this whole thing. I hope that this made you see me in a different way. I don't know. If you've ever had a bad thought about me, I hope that this helps you sort of like understand me more and like maybe realize that I'm not a horrible person. I've just messed up, right? I mean, aren't we all are in some ways. We're all a little bit fucked up, but like I feel like I'm fucked up more than like the average person, just because I have been through so much mental and emotional abuse through my life. Still, I'm just, I don't know. I'm just trying. And it's always been really important to me, and one of my goals, to be real here. A real person and not just somebody who's trying to sell you something. So I fight against that too, because pretty much everybody else out there is just trying to sell you something, even if they say that they're not, because I can see the tactics that they use and the things that they do. And it's about selling. It's about making money. It's about this being their career. And it's hard to trust people when that's their motive. But it's always been my goal and my intentions to be real here and it not being about that. And I've been true to that. And I've shared messy things with you, and I've shared fucked up things with you, and I've said things that have pissed people off, but like that's just it. So I'll see you guys in my next one.